Yes, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. Welcome back to Football Heritage TV. Wherever you are, whoever you are, you're more than welcome. On a day where Tottenham, about 15 minutes ago, were going to end the day in third. But thanks to a Fabio Carvalho 95th minute goal, we're going to win the day in second. No, we're not winning the league, but it's very nice. 9 points from 12. I think most people would have accepted that if they had been offered it at the beginning of the season. 9 points from the first 4 games. Still, some fans are not happy. Some are delighted, and we're going to get into all of it. Chris is here to tell us why the referee was absolutely brilliant today. Benji's not happy with the performance. I haven't actually spoken to Connor yet, so I don't know where Connor stands. And Danny, I don't know yet. I spoke to him before the game, but I haven't spoken to him since. Gentlemen, are we all okay? Is everyone happy on this Saturday evening?
Mm-hmm.
All good.
Very good.
Good. The energy is in the room. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Guys, who wants to start? Honestly, anyone can go. 3-0 away at West Ham. We can say they're a mess, but we've not won at West Ham for 6 years since Jose Mourinho, by the way, who is the favourite tonight to take over at West Ham. Just putting that out there as a side note. We haven't won there for 6 years. We've gone there. We've got 3 points. I would say somewhat professionally, if not, we weren't mesmerising, but we got the win. Who would like to start and talk to me about their version of the game? Anyone? Benji, yes, Benji. Come on, then. Tell us why we should all be doom and gloom and slitting our wrists. Talk to me, Benji.
It's not necessarily doom and gloom. Look, listen. First and foremost, I'm happy that we got the 3 points. But if I'm honest with you, I'll do a very quick walkthrough. Look, straight away when I saw the team sheet, I wasn't impressed. I was a bit concerned, if I'm brutally honest with you, because I feel like the Premier League needs to be our bread and butter this year. And I feel like you need your best players on the pitch at all times. You know, when you've got someone like Tell starting up front, that if I'm brutally honest with you, I feel like he was there for either sentimental reasons or political reasons. I don't know, but he shouldn't have been on the pitch. The fact that you're starting a game without a recognised actual number 9 blows my mind. You've literally got 2 strikers sitting on the bench. So straight away, that irritated me. And then Xavi. So with Xavi, okay, he is a number 10. He sees himself as a number 10. Bear with me. He sees himself as a number 10. And Frank, in his press conference, turned around and said, I also see Xavi playing as a number 10. He starts him on the left wing. To me, that makes no sense. Looking at the way Xavi plays, you can see he's built for Tottenham and he's built for that number 10 role. His creativity will work wonders for us. So again, that really irritated me. I'm going to be honest, for the first 50 minutes of the game, I thought I was watching Stoke. And I'll tell you why I feel like that. Because of the long throws, the corners, the running down the wing and crossing it into a 5'9" Matthews Tell, almost looking for more corners. Again, really irritated me. And if you want my brutal analysis, I don't think Tottenham won that game today. I feel like West Ham lost the game. And for me, 3-0 just covers up a bit of a crack. I feel like it was a poor performance. Again, I'm happy with the 3-0 win, but I feel like the performance was not there. And I was desperately unhappy with it. So, pick away.
Does anyone listen? I'll rip into that in a minute, but I want to hear you guys first. I've been streaming all day.
I'll go first if you want.
Yeah, Connor, bring me back to some reality, please, because I'll be honest. This isn't something I didn't say to Benji on WhatsApp. What a load of waffle, Connor. Go on, son. Off you go.
So I think to start with the team selection, and I had this debate with my dad actually on the phone when he saw the team because he was complaining about it as well. I think it was, to be honest, it was because of the fact that Benton Kerr and Richarlison had just played in South America and travelled back. So I think he's naturally rotating them to give them a bit of a rest. And then with Muani hasn't played since the Club World Cup. So I think he wants to bring him in slowly. And I think if the game wasn't completely done and dusted, he would have brought him on today. But I think he didn't even think it was worth risking an injury for him today. So that's the reason. I mean, obviously, Tell Tell was disappointing, I think, and I'm sure we'll get on to Tell in more detail
Oh,
later.
we'll get there.
He was
Connor,
poor.
we will get there. Don't you worry about that.
Yeah, I think that's the context behind the team selection. The game itself, I actually thought it was a really professional performance. I think although West Ham are a bit of a mess at the moment, they are always going to get themselves up for playing Tottenham. To Savva's initial point, we haven't won at West Ham Stadium since Mourinho. I think I read that's our biggest ever win away since 1962. So you know, in terms of that stuff, I think that's good. I think we look really solid defensively again. I thought Romero was absolutely fantastic. I think Romero showed you what he can do on the ball as well today. I mean, his passing was unbelievable in terms of breaking the lines, and then obviously with the Bergvall assist as well. First half was a bit meh. I do agree with that. I think they were probably the better team for the first 15 minutes or so, and then we really came into the game, and then it was, we were just dominating them. I think with Simmons, I think Simmons will end up in the 10 position, but I think he played him out on the left, one, because we've got limited options out on the left, as we've all been discussing. We needed a left winger desperately, but two, also to give him the chance to get used to the physicality of the Premier League. I think that's easier to do playing out wide than it is throwing him straight into the 10. And I think, he probably thought, what a midfield three of Bergvall, Sarr and Paulina will overrun their midfield when they've got pretty poor legs in midfield in Souček and Ward-Prowse. So I think that was his thinking there. Thought Kudus offered a lot, as he always does, beating his man every time. And then look, with the set pieces thing, I don't mind it. I'm all about, I think you need to maximise every potential opportunity for a goal. So be that a long throw and a set piece, I don't care. I think that was one of Ange's downfalls, that he put such little importance on those types of things. And as we saw today, I mean, we looked a real threat from every set piece. So sometimes when you've got to remember, Frank's only been working with this team for now 5 competitive games. Attacking phases of player is the hardest thing to coach and to start getting you used to doing. So he's got to set up really well defensively now. I don't think we look like conceding. No, we've already got half the same number of clean sheets as we had for the whole of the Premier League last season in 4 games.
Yeah.
So that's a huge improvement for me. And that attacking piece will come once Simmons gets fully settled into the team and once Muani starts to play. So I've got no concerns at all. And I think it's a really good result. And I think he learned as well from the Bournemouth game, particularly in making the left a little bit more effective today.
Mm-hmm. Well, look, I'll get Chris and Dan's thoughts before we go into all-out war and typical YouTube rivalry. Chris, let me start with you. You've 2 very different sets of opinions there from Benji and from Connor. Where are you out of all of this?
I'm definitely closer to Connor. Although when the team sheet came out, I was worried. I didn't like the lineup particularly. But what you've got to factor in, though, is, Connor's alluded to this already. Frank has seen these guys come back from international duty, right? With Charleston, Bentancur been halfway around the world. So you got to understand that they might not be the best options just to throw them back in. They might be knackered. So personally, my team would have had them in out of preference, but I've got to give, he's the guy who sees them every week or every day on the training pitch, not me. So I can understand on the back of an international break why they might not have been ready. Tell, I dispute that he's not a number 9. I'd agree that he's not a good one, but he is supposed to be a 9. When we signed, I think he's on record as saying that's where he sees himself play. And when we signed him, most of the German commentators were saying he needs to play as a centre forward, not out on the wing. So I was trying to convince myself to be more positive when I saw him starting and think actually it's a real opportunity for him to show us something. But we'll get into Tell later. But yeah, the lineup worried me. I'll be honest, I don't think we win too many Premier League away games with that central midfield 3. However, you just got to view it in context, as like Connor says. Frank's not been here too long. I don't expect that we will see the full Frank effect for 2 or 3 months. It's not something you can just do overnight. It takes time, especially to get any consistency. So bearing all that in mind, he's got to juggle the squad. We've got
Mhm.
Villarreal. We're not going to play well every week, even when he's embedded and everyone's learnt the Thomas Frank way. We're still not going to play well every week. So to be able to come away with 3 points when you don't play particularly well, I don't think we're amazing. We definitely weren't terrible. I don't think we're amazing. I think we looked solid at the back, and that was the area of the pitch where we didn't make any changes. Right, we can rely on that back four. I think we started the game a bit slow. We grew into it. Second half, very quickly, a number of things went in our favour. Right, we scored. Obviously, they had a man sent off. We scored immediately again. When we went 3 up, I sent a message in one of my groups and said, if we score 2 more, we go top. I think that's a fan reaction, though. I think all of us are like, let's go and pummel them into the ground. I think a professional manager reaction is, we've won the game. We've got another match on Tuesday. We've got 2 games a week for God knows how long. Let's just shut up shop. Let's not go overly exert ourselves. Let's just, if another chance comes along, of course, go and try. But you're not going to, what's the point? If this was the last game of the season and another couple of goals is the difference between qualifying for the Champions League or not, then fine, absolutely go for it. But I just don't see the point at 3-0 up 65 minutes into a game in September when you've got all of these other games. Like, if we'd have done that and we'd have really gone for it at that point and we get an injury, then you look stupid, right? So Connor used a word that I just echo, and I've said, I was on another stream before. From the moment that it went 2-0, I thought it was a really professional performance. So my summary is that it didn't get me off my seat. I didn't think we were amazing. A couple of players I didn't think were particularly good, but we'll get into that. But we were good enough. And on the day, it's so early in Thomas Frank's reign that I'm not going to worry too much about how brilliant or not we are. So we were terrible last week. Not going to worry too much about that right now. And today we were decent and we got 3 points. And we're going to need to do that plenty more times this season if we're going to finish high up the league, because we're not going to be brilliant every week. So overall, a couple of small bits of disappointment, but we won 3-0 at City. So like I'm more than happy. And I think you just got to give credit to him to say he's assessed the squad well. You've got to manage it. You've got to pick your games where you're going to play your weaker players, right? Because you can't play your first 11 or your first, whatever we think the first choice players are. You can't play them every game because you'll run them into the ground. I didn't think Bergvall should have played today, but today is not. I'm not a massive Bergvall fan, but today's not a day for that. You've got to give him credit and go, Thomas Frank chose to play him, and he played pretty well, and we've come away with a 3-0 win. Just got to hold your hands up and go, he's judged it well, and fair play to him.
Yeah, well, let me don't disagree with you. Don't disagree. Let me go to Dan, and then we'll go. We'll do a bit more debate style rather than round robin. Dan, what did you make of it today? Anyone you agree with, disagree with?
Bit of everyone, really. If I'm going to be totally honest with it, if I just want to assess the game properly, as we all see it in our own way, sort of thing, I can pretty much agree with what everybody said. I think that I was very questionable about the team he picked. I mean, me and you spoke about it. It was a bit skeptical at first, but after we spoke about it, we sort of worked out roughly, had an idea of what he was trying to do. Basically, play with a DM instead of a 10 sort of thing, which I'd said the day before. He can use that. And I think the first half, I think the only one out of our lot that actually stood out who looked actually good was Van der Ven. The rest of it was pretty much bang average at best. And West Ham weren't any better either. But towards the end of the first half, we were definitely taking control of the game. Mm-hmm. And from the second half, I think one thing he should have done, Tell should have come off at half-time. No ifs or buts. I thought he was really that bad. I thought he should have come off at half-time. But he didn't. I mean, that first goal, how was that disallowed? I don't know. If that was disallowed, then there was a time we should have had a bloody penalty, for God's sake. I just did not see what was wrong with that first goal in any means or manner. And, but the first half, shady as. Second half, we carried on from the end of the first half. got our act together, basically, got control of the game, and took it from there, basically. And then when they went down to 10 men, I think that's when we took total control of the game as such. I don't think we was totally all over them or whatever, like the 3-0 says. And the second half, respectable second half. By the end of the second half, you can say I think Romero had a very good game overall, and Van de Ven had a very good game overall. Savva, his first game for us, some good crosses in there, some good corners and that. I think we looked much better on a dead ball situation. I think he had a respectable game. I don't think it was nothing spectacular, but he had a respectable game. It's his first game, for God's sake. That's why he came off after, 70 minutes, 75 minutes, something like that. Overall, really, if you want to pick up bits and whatever, yeah, that could have been a harder game, but we done them 3-0 basically at their place. We haven't done it for 6 years. Made a bit of a mess of the first half, but after that, I think it was pretty much a respectable game. I thought Paulini had a good game. Other players on there had a pretty average game, but still done their job, basically. I thought Kuda's done a very good job in the first half of what Connor was saying, of beating his man and that. He was the one who actually looked like he was pushing forward for us in the first half. So, yeah, I can say two people had a good first half, actually, Van de Ven and Kuda's. By the end of it, I'd say it was an overall respectable game. And we got the result that we should have got, especially the fact that they went down to 10 men. We should have won that 3-0. It was nothing special in that aspect. So I know 3-0 sounds like a great game, whatever else, and that great result. But the fact that they went down to 10 men and we was on them, we should have won that 3-0. Bergvall, I thought that header he made was brilliant, especially with the pass with Romero. I thought Bergvall did have a good game, and we did contemplate what was he doing, starting with Sarr and Bergvall, and it actually worked out pretty well for them too, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
So by the end, it was a result I expected, especially when we went to 10 men. I expected that result, so it was a respectable game.
See, guys, listen. I'm more than happy with that. I'm more than happy with what we saw today. Do I want to see us playing swashbuckling football every minute of every game? Sure, but that's a pipe dream, right? I don't think anyone plays great football all the time. Look at Arsenal in the last couple of years. You've seen Arsenal finish second 3 years in a row. One of those years they looked at. I know people won't like me saying it. One of those years they looked absolutely brilliant with their football. One of the years they looked absolutely boring with their football. But you know what? It's results. If you're getting those results, that's absolutely fine. I think the difficulty is, and I'm gonna come back to some of Benji's points here. I think first and foremost, when we're talking about you had two strikers on the bench, you've got to remember Kolo Muani has not played for months. He has not played a game of football for months since the Club World Cup, which feels like a long time ago now, right? You've got Richarlison, who's flown back from Brazil. And let's be fair, it's Richarlison. I'm not going to lose sleep because Richarlison's not starting a game of football. For me, I see it the way, I don't know if Connor said it or Chris said it. One of you guys said it. And Dan and I actually said it, but in the build up to the game. Fine. Go on then, show us. Show us. This is your audition. You've got Solanke out injured. Mawani's not fit, not match fit. And Richarlison, let's just go with jet lag, right? Go on then. Show us. We're playing a disjointed West Ham team. Show us. And it's not, we'll get to tell a bit more later, but it's not that he didn't score. And yes, he didn't get service, but just him as a footballer, he just didn't do anything that makes you go, actually, yeah, I see something in you. But other than that, when you're talking about Xavi Simons being a number 10, yeah, I agree with you. But isn't this what I've been saying all summer? This is why you had to buy a left winger. Because if you don't buy the left winger, we're going to have this every game, guys. Every game is going to be someone's going to be unhappy with whoever is picked. Because you're going to go, oh, I wouldn't have played Johnson on the left. I would have played Odegaard. Oh, I wouldn't have played Odegaard. I would have played Tell. I wouldn't have played Tell. I would have played Richarlison on the left. Oh, I would have played Mawani. This is the problem when you don't do your transfer business, right? And for me, I get it because the only other option is to play Xavi Simons in the middle And then today, the only other option would have been to play Tell or Odegaard out wide. So I completely get why he did today. And listen, I don't mind admitting when I was wrong. I didn't like in the first half. I didn't like Bergvall and Sarr's performance in the first half. I know everyone said he had a great game. I thought Bergvall was very good second half when we had the ball. In the first half, I didn't think he was very good, and Sarr for that matter as well. And it's amazing that a goal changes the perception of how well a player has played. But second half, I thought Sarr and Bergvall were very good. I thought they were really, really good. And the one thing I want to say before we move it into a debate style is everything that we moaned about with Ange, right? We're now moaning that Frank's doing those things that we moaned that Ange didn't. We've got to be very wary of that as fans. Oh, set pieces. Well, we all moaned that Ange never sorted out our set pieces. We all moaned. We're shit at set pieces, scoring from them and defending them, right? Frank sorted that out, right? But now we're moaning about it, right? We've conceded 1 goal in 4 games. Can you imagine 1 goal in 4 games? Can you imagine this last season? And we're going, oh, but we're not playing great entertaining football. Well, you know, all right, he's been there for 4 Premier League games. Do you know what I mean? And let's be fair, we played West Ham away and Man City away. That's 2 tough games, and we've taken 6 points without conceding to either of them. And let's be fair, we've conceded 1 goal, which was Bournemouth, right? We've conceded 1 goal. What I'd also say about it is this, and Dan, we talked about this earlier. We all said, hate it that Ange has one way of playing, right? So far, in all 4 games, we've played different. In all 4 games, we've played different style of football. Burnley, we had all the ball. We knew we would. Man City, soak it up, transition, hit them on the counter. Bournemouth was just shit. I don't think anyone will knock me for saying that. Bournemouth was just shit. And then today we played with no number 10, and we played with 2 8s that were pushing on, and Paulinho as an out-and-out number 6. So this manager has changed in 4 games. He's shown us 4 different things, and we don't like it. We're questioning every decision this manager makes. Oh, I can't believe he played Tell. Can't believe he played him there. Can't believe he did this. He should have played Benton. But these are the same things that we criticised Ange for. So I'm at the stage where I don't quite understand what some people want. I want this manager to try things. Now, does that mean that we're going to get it right? Well, no, because look at 2 weeks ago against Bournemouth. Got it terribly wrong. We all came away at the end and said he's got to learn from that. And he did. He did learn from that. He tried something different today. And whatever we think, whether we like the 11 or not, we won 3-0. We won 3-0 away. So for me, I'm really, really happy. Second in the league. I'm not so bothered about league positions at this stage of the season, right? Because otherwise you start turning into, oh my God, we're in a title challenge. But we're second in the Premier League. We've conceded 1 goal. I think only 2 teams have scored more than us, if I'm not wrong. Let me just double check that. Only Chelsea and Arsenal have scored more goals than Tottenham. We've conceded. Who's conceded? Only Palace have conceded 1. Spurs and Arsenal. So we've got like the joint best defense in the Premier League. And I'm the negative one, right? I'm really happy, guys. So sorry, I don't see all of this. Oh my God, I'm really disappointed. Yada yada. I don't see it. Sorry.
It's nothing to be disappointed about. It's but people are going to question things. Like we did question in the show you were doing before. Why has he started with Bergvall and Sarr? And neither of us were too keen on the idea. We worked out why he's done it, but suggested that maybe it weren't the best idea. But that's just going for opinions when you're looking at it before it goes. One thing we definitely got right is that why was Tell even on the bloody pitch? But we did say that Wane probably isn't fully fit and Richarlison had just come back, so it was the option to put it there. I still think you should have brought him off at half time. I mean, just because you go and win a game 3-0, when you actually take the whole game apart, you haven't got to sit there and start jumping up and down saying it was spectacular when it was a respectable game. It was they were down to 10 men. I expected us to win that by that amount by then. I'm not going to get overexcited about it, but so far, so good. Same as I say with a lot of things. I'm happy that he's using that rotation because he hasn't exactly got much of it. And I'm happy that he's adapting to games basically in a game basis. Like I said all last season, what Ange didn't do, he kept playing it one way. So I've been saying the whole time, I'm happy that he is adapting to things. I'm happy that he is trying things out. You can see he's assessing a game. Yeah, the last game, he got that totally wrong. This one, I think he got most of it right, a majority of it. I think he got the subs at the right time as well. Overall, respectable game. I'm happy with it, basically. But when they went down to 10 men, that is when we took total control, and that is where we should have won that game 3-0. So I'm happy with a respectable result. It doesn't have to be spectacular. If anything, I'm more happy that we can win a dirty game, because it's usually the dirty games that come and bite you in the arse when you can't win them. Every game hasn't got to look brilliant. If you can win a game just by playing respectable, that's a good thing, isn't it?
Do you know what?
I mean, you guys. Sorry, Ben. You go.
No, you go, brother. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, look, what I, as you said, when they went down to 10, obviously we took complete control, and you expected us to go on. And Chris made the point, as fans, particularly because it's West Ham, we wanted to see 5 or 6. But I actually take more sometimes from that type of a performance where it's just so. You remember under Poch where we had those games when we were really at our pomp with Poch, and we would go 3 or 4-0 up in the first half, and then the second half, everyone used to complain that we would ruin the early kickoff in games because all we did for the second half was just pass the ball around and not really try to score. That's what it was like today, I thought, when we went 3-0 up. It was just, Romero was putting his foot on the ball, just being slow as he often is on the ball, but going through the motions, and they put in very, very little effort to save energy for Tuesday, right? And I think we're going to need to do that. And for me as well, I mean, I think the league now is at the stage where there are teams that can beat anyone on their day, and we saw that last 2 weeks ago with Bournemouth, with the performance Bournemouth putting against us, and we're going to have more days like that. And Brighton away as our next Premier League game, I think, is a tough game because they offer something a bit Bournemouthy in terms of that high press, high energy. And that's I think we're going to struggle a little bit with that game. And I'm sure if we do, the fans will then have another meltdown. But and we're going to have a little bit of an up and down with Frank because he's only just come in. But for me, I thought it was very, very intelligent game management today. And what I take from what I've seen of Frank so far, and I was a big advocate for Frank getting the job because I think he'd done such an outstanding job at Brentford. He deserved that step up opportunity. Is for me, I've already seen that this is more sustainable. Even when we were all getting excited with that first 10 games of Ange's reign, if you actually go back and reflect on that 10 games, a lot of that was, there was a couple of last minute winners in there and things as well, right? That Liverpool and Sheffield United and things.
And some luck.
And some luck. And I think we took people by surprise. Whereas I now look at this, what I'm watching now, and I can quite clearly see that this is just a very, very good coach who's able to adapt and able to take what he does on the training pitch onto the game pitch. So, yeah, I think everyone should be optimistic at the moment. It's going to be interesting to see how it changes as we do start to get into that cycle of 2 games a week. And I think we need to be fortunate with injuries. But
Connor, isn't it lovely? Isn't it lovely watching Spurs play and not thinking like we're going to concede every time a team attacks
100%.
us?
Yeah,
I don't know about you guys. Don't get me wrong. Listen, in a game of 90 minutes of football, teams are going to have chances. That's everybody concedes chances, Liverpool, City, whoever. But at no point today, other than I think Paqueta with a kind of swiveled shot, if I remember rightly, that he scuffed. At no point today did I sit there and think they're going to score it, or a goal is coming, or they're peppering us. We just looked organised, and a lot of that. I'm going to start by talking about a player I want us to talk about now, Paulinho. Right, this guy, the difference this guy makes to this football team, it just makes you beggars belief that we have not had a player like this for the last 2 years. I mean, guys, discuss. I mean,
just
I
quickly,
feel so comfortable now.
Just to echo the first part of that, Savva, before Paulinho, it's almost the DNA of Tottenham fans to think at 3 goals ahead with 10 minutes to go that we might not win. Right. I'm old enough, and I know you are, Savva. I dare say,
It's
Dan.
happened.
Yeah,
right.
I've seen us lose a 3-goal lead against 10 men and lose 4-3, right, against City in the cup.
City. Yeah.
So
Was that when Joey Barton got sent off?
half
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah.
Ron Macken scored the winner. But anyway, so it's all very well to say, oh, we should do this wonderful gung-ho football against 10 men. But when we don't and we're secure, and like you, I'm sat there thinking that the game is done. At no point did I think anything but the game was done. That is the hallmark of professional football teams who win trophies and are successful. And at Tottenham, we love that kind of jeopardy of, we want to go and score 5, but we might end up losing. Great, but I quite like the security of actually, you know what, we're in control and that's it. The game's over. So you got to give him credit. It wasn't like you said, swashbuckling. I think you said it wasn't that, but this is what I expect to see. This is fully exactly what I expected over the next few months and the early months of Frank. Is that we'll get a lot of games where we don't look amazing because you're embedding a new system. But if you walk away with that with 3 points, you can't do much other than go back and go, well, you've got to credit the manager. Like that's where I am with it.
Yeah.
I mean, can I bounce off something you said a second ago as well, Sav? Excuse me, my voice is broken.
Mate.
Do you know what? With the defending side of things, you say that, but a few weeks ago against Burnley, that's not right, is it? Who did we play a few weeks ago? Bournemouth. Sorry.
Bournemouth.
I certainly didn't feel like that. We should have lost that game 4-0. If it wasn't for, if it wasn't, the defending in that game was absolutely shocking. So at least with the last 2 games we've played, is it a case of we're defending really well, which again, Bournemouth, I don't feel like we did, or is it that the teams that we've played the last 2 times are absolutely shocking? There's something I genuinely wanted to just play a bit of devil's advocate with you all about.
Sure. Okay. Look, PSG, Man City, West Ham, Burnley, none of those games, apart from the last 10 minutes when PSG clawed it back because they've got the best team in the world, by the way. At no point in any of those games was I sitting, even City. At what point did anyone feel really threatened by Man City?
No, not at all. Not at all. No, absolutely. But I'm referring to the last 2 games, though, Sav. That's all. I'm just saying I don't think we're as invincible as we may be supposed. But look, again, I wanted to play devil's advocate because you all said something really similar, which I was interested in. And it was that you all felt in the second half, we started to take control and start to dominate. Do you feel that was the case? Or do you feel like West Ham regressed quite severely in that second half and then also had the man taken off?
I wouldn't say we dominated in the second half, but by the end of the first half, I'd say we did have control of that game, even though it was a very bang average first half at its best, in my opinion, on both sides, really. But we had already started to take control in the last 10 minutes, and we carried that on into the second half. And I think we pretty much had enough control of the game as such. There was a couple of moments where, do you know what? If anything, I think the only time I felt a bit worried with conceding a goal was with Vicario. Because there was about 3 different things he'd done on there that definitely made me sort of like... I mean, that one where it came to him on the floor where he literally just had to fall down sideways, he should have just been able to catch that there.
Yeah, that was worrying, Dan.
He just sort of managed to... And I was like, that
was poor. Yeah, I know the one you mean.
That was terrible. And then the other one where he came out, again, doing an old habit of his that he seems to have and can't get rid of, and that's trying to punch the ball when there's 10 people standing there and landing on top of them. Don't do no favours either. He was the only thing that made me think, maybe we might concede there. But overall, especially when it went down to 10 men, then we had total control of the game, basically. And so you should have when you're playing a game, when you're playing against 10 men, really. But yeah, it was a respectable game overall. And Romero, okay, we'll say 2 good games, 2 bad games. I think everyone can agree with that. 2 of his games out of the 4 have been absolutely shocking, and 2 of them have been very good. Okay, let's see what he's like in 10 games' time. This is why I struggle with calling him an extremely good player, because he's so up and down. But Van der Ven, he's been very solid in defence in pretty much every game, I'd say. Very impressive in that. And yeah, the only thing I thought of conceding a goal, I just thought Vicario might be the only fault, because he did have a couple of shady moments. But apart from that, respectable game.
The underrated thing for me with Romero, it's the underrated thing for me with Romero, and I agree. I mean, Burnley was average, I would say, rather than shocking, but Bournemouth, he was definitely shocking.
Fair enough. No, I'll go with that. Fair enough.
Yeah, Bournemouth, he was definitely shocking. Complete switch off, and then you get into that sort of narrative of is it because it's before the international break and all of that type of stuff with him. Although he did obviously at least fly home early with his suspension this time, which was good. Hence why he played today. The one thing I think it gives you, which Van der Ven doesn't, and very, very few centre backs in world football give you, and it's particularly important for us because we don't have a particularly good deep lying playmaker type, is his ball progression is absolutely outstanding. You saw it today. I mean, not just the pass to Bergvall for the goal, but the amount of line breaking passes that he played into, and a lot of them were to Tell, who was then losing it. So it then made it look not as great as the passes were because Tell couldn't trap a bag of sand. But the ones he was playing into Simmons at times, into Bergvall, once Bergvall started to find that hole in the second half, that for me is why when Romero is out, it's a huge miss. And for us now with this system, it's a bigger miss for me than a Van der Ven being missing, because Van der Ven, when we was playing Angie's system, was a huge miss because of the running 50 yards with outrageous pace. Whereas now, because we missed that midfield passer, I think Romero is absolutely critical.
I agree with that aspect. I think Mickey Van der Ven's been better than Romero. And I think that what I've seen of Romero this season is exactly what my opinion's been of him for 4 years at Tottenham, is that when he's on it, he's brilliant. When he's not on it, I think, why are you not on it? And for me, I just want to see, like, I thought against Man City, he was superb. Today, he was superb. I thought he was crap against Burnley in the first game. Sorry, I know you said average. I think he was crap. He kept giving the ball away, sloppy passes. I thought he was poor. I thought he was crap last week, 2 weeks ago. Sure, everyone was crap. But for me, I've just, like what Dan just said, I've got to see, I want to see this every week. And that's a compliment to him, that he's capable of that. I want to see it. I want to see it every week, because what we do with Romero, we always do this, right? Is when he has a game like today, everyone goes, oh my God. Like, I'm seeing people in the chat, like my mate Phil Coys. I love Phil. He's got, like, Romero and Van der Ven showing why they're the best partnership in the league. Well, they haven't been for 2 years, have they? So let's not rewrite history. They've not been. If they keep this up this season, they will be. Yeah, for sure. But for me, I just need to see. I've said this. Whoever's worked with me a lot will know consistency is the word I like to use for footballers. I don't do this whole, a player's great 1 week, they're shit the next. They're great 1 week. I like to see consistency. I don't like if a young player bursts onto the scene and has a good game, we go, oh my God, they're amazing. No, show me weekly, show me over a year. And that's all I want to see from Romero. Games like today, every week. And he's capable of it. I just want to see it. Now, people will take that negatively, right? Oh, you don't rate him. It's not that I don't rate him. I just need to see that every week. And what I think with Van der Ven, I think he's more consistent. I think Mickey's more consistent with the way he plays. I don't
he
see...
is, but his ceiling's way lower for me in terms of, like, just because of that ball progression point as well.
No, sure. Come on, that's what I was going to say. Now, if you look at them ability-wise, you might go Romero, Van der Ven. The problem is Van der Ven stays at that level week in, week out. Romero is there, and then he's there, and then he's there, and then he's there. If Romero can do that every week, you've got a top centre-half. You've got a world-class centre-half. But world-class players don't do this. They don't. Do you know what I mean? That's all I want to see from him. Because I thought he was, again, you're right. His passing today, very, very good passing. The only thing I would say about him, sometimes I just want him to speed it up a little bit when he's got the ball at the back. Sometimes when he's got the ball at his feet and he's had it there for like 5 seconds, you're like, come on, 10 seconds. Like, come on.
I think it's sometimes intentional because he wants to draw out the press, doesn't he? But I know it's frustrating as fans to watch, isn't it? For sure. It is. Particularly against a team that's just not going to press you anyway, like a West Ham today. They're happy to sit there, aren't they?
See, but Phil, this is the thing. When you're saying has made Romero go to another level, so far he's had shit game, great game, shit game, great game. So this is revisionism. Like we're only talking about him after his great games.
He was great against
y-
PSG as well, to be fair, wasn't he? In the Super Cup.
Sure. My
But
thing
that's
with
because
Romero,
it's that type of game. Yeah.
I've always said the big games, I never worry about Romero. For
No.
me, it's the Bournemouths, the Burnleys, the Palaces, when we play Leeds and Sunderland and those teams, dominate, don't switch off. And they're the games where he tends to switch off on. So again, look, sorry, what is this? You're way too harsh on Romero. Engagement farming. Dude, listen, if you knew anything about me as a content creator, I don't say things for clicks and likes. These people will all tell you in WhatsApp groups I say exactly the same thing. Yeah. I'm not sitting here making this shit up. So T-Dub, I will just get rid of you if you're going to be a prick. There you go. I've called you a prick.
It doesn't work anyway, Savva, does it? We know that if you want to farm engagements, you've got to gas everybody up and say we're going to win the league. That's what gets the engagement.
No,
Exactly.
can I just say that what you say is a lot of sense. I advocate, and Danny will tell you this. I advocated for Romero being out and out world class. I think if you look at the fact what he's done in 3 finals and the big matches he does turn up, you absolutely want to call him world class. But I must hold my hands up here and say, Sav and Danny and the rest of you boys are absolutely right. It's a consistency thing, and if you can't do that on a consistent basis, you're not a world class player, and that's totally what's so frustrating. So I don't think by any stretch of the imagination, Sav's trying to get engagement. It's an educated fact. Unfortunately, he's not consistent.
A lot of people don't like seeing it like that. They're always like, yeah, but you had a world-class game. Why do you have to look at the negative side? Well, sorry, if you want to weigh things up for improvement and you want to look at bits you have to improve, you have to look at the negative along with a positive. Just some people just want to play ignorance is bliss and totally turn a blind eye to the other. At the end of it, Romero is not a world-class defender. Never in a million years yet. He's got world-class capability and he has world-class games. But for me, a world-class player does not do that once in a blue moon or once every 3 or 4 games or once every 5 games. At the moment, if him being a captain and being a world-class player, you can see the improvement, then why has he had 2 crap games and 2 good games?
If
he's such a captain and such a world-class player, I could go with 3 quality games and 1 not so good game sort of thing, because you're never perfect. But so far, it's 4 games, 2 crap, 2 quality. And he's meant to be a captain as well. He's a very good defender. On his day, he's one of the best defenders out there and probably one of the best ball-playing defenders on the planet on his day. But that's not good enough to be called a world-class player, not in my opinion. A world-class player needs out-and-out consistency. At least 8 games out of 10, 9 games out of 10 even. That is when you call someone world-class. That is where I just feel world-class gets thrown down way too easy. Just because a player has world-class capabilities to have a world-class game, don't make him a world-class player. They need consistency. We need him to be here in the dirty games as such, like he did today, but do it consistently as he's our captain. For me, he's just too up and down to call him world-class. But on his day, there isn't many better. But on another day, he literally drops from there to there.
There's the same with strikers, isn't there, about a scorer of great goals rather than a great goal scorer. And it's kind of similar with Romero. He is a player who puts in world-class performances rather than being a world-class player. There's a difference between the two.
I'll go with that, totally. It's the way he can just drop from one to the other so consistently. That is the problem. He does it consistently. To say 2 games, 9-9, then all of a sudden a 4, a 3, a 5, a 9, an 8, a 5, a 2. That is not a world-class player. He's got
an additional bit of context I would just add, to be fair, as a mitigating.
He had a brilliant game today.
If you look at him for Argentina, right, I think no one would doubt he doesn't have that consistency issue for Argentina. And actually, when he doesn't play, as was shown the other night when he was suspended, they lost. And Argentina hardly ever lose or concede goals when he's playing. I think over the last couple of seasons, you know, he's been subject to Ange as much as all of us have been. And, you know, the sort of no defensive structure. And then obviously last year he was injured for that, and him and Van der Ven hardly played together. And obviously he showed in the Europa what he can do. So I think some of that, and as you've all said, everyone against Bournemouth was horrendous, right? It wasn't just Romero. So I do think this year, if touch wood, him and Van de Ven can stay fit, I think you will see a more naturally consistent Romero once it's over a bigger sample set, i.e. the whole season. So yeah, I mean, look, I pray they stay fit, because I do think, and I think it's something that most fans won't notice until he's out. We will really, really struggle when Romero's out this year, because of the reliance we have on him to progress the ball at the moment. And Paulinho, for all of his strengths, and he's, to your point, Sav, he's added a huge amount of value in terms of making us more solid. His strength isn't progressing the ball, though, right? And you know, he's a safer passer, right? So, and similarly with Sarr and Bergvall, their strength is getting around the pitch and being energetic youngsters, and they've got a lot to learn. So, you know, we don't have that Adam Walton type that's playing next to Paulinho, or which would make up. So at the moment, all of our ball progression comes from Romero or Porro to some extent, and so I do think we would notice it more if he was out.
But we definitely need more consistency, don't we?
We do. Yeah, sure. But I think it will come naturally. I do think it will come naturally this year.
I hope it does.
James, welcome to the show. Have your say on the game, and I do need to quickly pop away for 1 minute. Have your say on the game, and then just argue amongst yourselves about something, or call me a TUNT or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, evening, boys. You all right?
Hello, mate.
Yeah, not so bad. Yeah, I thought, to be honest, I thought the game was okay. I didn't think there was. I just felt like we're really bad on the ball. I think that's the main thing for me. And we're playing with 10 men again. I mean, Tell, I'm sorry, I don't understand what anybody sees in Tell. He is a man down. There is no difference between him and Brennan Johnson for me. Someone in one of our chats said, "Oh, when
Johnson scores goals."
Yeah. Yeah. Someone in the chat was like, "Oh, but what's he done wrong?" I'm like, "Yeah, but what's he done? Like, what has he done? What's he done? Full stop. It don't even have to be right or wrong. I'd rather him do something wrong as long as he's doing something." And someone said, "Oh, well, he hasn't got no service." Well, if you don't get no service, then you drop deep to get the ball and try and get involved. It's almost like him and Brennan Johnson are okay just to stand still. And if he doesn't get a ball, he'll just stand still. He's just not very good. That for me was the biggest thing. Him, and I thought Papisar, and I know Bergvall had a good second half, but I thought he was shocking in the first half. Again, just a headless chicken. I feel like we've got our midfield destroyer, and where we've lost Maddison, we've got nobody that can pass the ball. And I think personally, we missed Bentancur quite a lot today. I think he's the only one in the midfield that actually can pass. Yeah, I thought Xavi started slow, finished really well. Kudos again did everything he could. I thought Spence was average. I'm really kind of torn on Spence because I think he's fantastic defensively. I think he's crap going forward. I really do think he's terrible going forward, but I think he's.
I wouldn't say he's terrible, James. I wouldn't say he's terrible going forward, but it's not his stronger point. Udogie and Porro are better going forward, definitely. But
I don't think Udogie is, mate. That's all. I don't think Udogie.
I wanted him slung off at half time. I thought Spence was awful that first half.
Yeah, you
Can I just ask with Spence? Do you not think the problem that Spence has is we've seen so much of him at left back, so when he's going forwards, it's not natural. If you're on the different foot, naturally you're going to cut in, right? Whereas if we saw him more on the right hand side, do you think we'd see him more flying forward a bit more like he did when he played for Forest and Borough? I'm not excusing him because I thought he was. I didn't think he was. He didn't have one of his better games today, but you can see defensively he's solid. But going forward, when you're on the wrong side, it's very difficult to progress. Do you know what I mean?
Can I counteract that with saying I think he's better? I think he's better defensively left back because most wingers now cut inside, so they're cutting into his favoured foot. So most one-on-one, when he's standing one-on-one, they want to cut inside. He wants them to cut inside because he's cutting into their stronger foot. Whereas I think a few times we have seen him at right back, when they put him onto his weaker foot, for me, he's nowhere near as good. And for me,
I understand that, but I'm talking about going forward, James. Like,
yeah,
you could see today when he was progressing the ball forwards, because he's always going onto his right foot. You saw a few times Xavi played him in down the left, and he was almost hesitant to get the crossover with his left foot because he's not left-footed, right? Whereas had that been on the right-hand side, that ball's going in first time. And it's a double-edged sword.
He's still better than Udogie. He's still better than Udogie. Might be left-footed. He doesn't get the crosses in. He gives the ball away all the time. So I'm not having Udogie as better than Spence going forward at all. I think
he's better at Spence going forward. I've seen him progress forward much better than Spence overall. If you want to go as an overall player, I'd say Spence is better than Porro and Udogie because you can get more out of him as an overall player. But going forward, Udogie and Porro are better. When it comes to defending,
I don't think Udogie's done anything going forward in the 2 years he's been in. Prove me wrong, mate. Show me some goals that he's helped himself.
Okay. Prove me wrong then.
All right, let's dig out his assist stats.
Right.
I'm doing it right, Chris. I'm on it right now because I agree with Chris. I keep hearing that Udogie's really good going forward. I don't see it
all the time.
I think he's better going forward. I mean, with Porro, he can't defend come love nor money, yet people keep telling me he's a quality bloody fullback when he ain't even a flipping fullback, yeah? And he's proved himself time and time again. You can probably name 5 games last season or since he's been with us where he's actually looked like a solid defender. Why? Because he's a wing back. He's made for going forward. He hasn't got a defensive mentality. So it's not saying the player's crap. It's just saying he ain't a bloody defender. And I think Udogie is better going forward than Spence, but I think Spence is a better overall player.
Again, to be fair, the one point I would add on Udogie is he was being asked to pick up the fucking ball in the inverted 10 position when he's quite clearly an overlapping fullback. So again, I think this is another one without banging on about the shift from Ange to Frank, because it sounds like I'm just putting my own agenda on that. I think he will look better when he's overlapping.
That doesn't mean you can't pass the ball 5 yards, though, does it? He gives the ball away all the time.
You know what? Going back,
he's a fullback. He's not a wing back.
I'm not having that though because we can't.
You can not have it all you want. I've seen two different positions.
You're flip-flopping. Yeah, you are. You slate Archie Gray every week for not being able to make a 5-yard pass, but now all of a sudden, Udogie's good at going forward when he can't make a 5-yard pass. Like, it doesn't make sense.
I've seen Udogie go forward plenty of times, and what I was
I've seen Archie Gray have a good game against Chelsea. Don't mean he's a good player.
Destiny
I've seen Udogie have more than one good game. He's a wing back, so is Porro. Whereas Spence, he's actually.
He was in the team this season in his first season, wasn't he?
Destiny Udogie, we're talking about assisting. Yeah. Destiny Udogie has averaged an assist every 17 games for Tottenham Hotspur. Amazing. Just so the thing with Destiny Udogie is there's so much about me that looks at him and says, you should be brilliant. Like you should be. Like he's got the right physicality for it. He's quick. He's strong. I just think it's been a very stop-start 2 years. And again, going back to Connor's point, we do have to add on the Ange tax for some of the defenders, right? That we
very true.
When you're playing in the Ange system, how can you judge people defensively? But going forward, I feel this is definitely a development area. He's still a young man. This is very much a development area that we need to see him getting those crosses in. We need to see him bulldozing past people and whipping balls in. He almost, for me, seems to get to the opportunity to cross, and he hesitates and he cuts back, and we see that with a lot of people who aren't sure about their crossing. Whereas Porro doesn't hesitate to cross because Porro's got a really good delivery. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what he does with this whole Spence, Udogie, Porro situation, because they're all very different players. But just today, I didn't think Spence wasn't at his usual self today. I thought.
Did anybody actually watch or even know of Udogie before Spurs got him?
Yeah.
Yeah, not many people did. I watched him that whole season in Italy. And like I'm saying to you, James, he can't make a 5-yard pass. Now you're just bloody exaggerating. He's done that plenty of times. Has he done that final bit? No, he hasn't done it so great. I mean, he had the same problem as Porro last season with inverting. I think they were both screwed over that. And like we give a few players now a bit of leeway for it. When I watched him play in Italy, and he played as a wing back, not a
Dan,
fullback.
we're not in
Spence
Italy,
is
mate.
a-
We're in England.
I'm
We're
telling
in
you what I've
different
seen
league.
him do. No shit, Sherlock.
Well,
I got
well,
that one, yeah.
I
That's why
saw
I got my England
Soldado.
fleet,
No,
yeah.
Dan, I saw
No,
Soldado
no,
banging
let me-
goals left, right, and
Right,
centre
but I'm
when he
telling
was in
you how I've
Spain.
seen him play and how I've seen him play at Spurs as well. When he plays as a wing back and gets forward, he's good at getting forward with the ball. His final
Not for
delivery,
Spurs, yeah.
okay, needs to
What
get
if he
better.
give it away?
He gets forward. He gets better. I think he gets better forward than Spence does. But I think Spence is a much better defender and an overall player. You get more out of him. Udogi's got forward many a time for us.
He
It's
just
just
gives it
like
away,
Savva said.
This
It's that final bit.
For me, this is the problem. You're comparing Udogi, who's meant to be a good going forward, to somebody that's terrible going forward,
I didn't
and
say
we're
he's
having a
terrible
debate
going
about it.
forward.
No,
I
well,
didn't
I know,
think
but
he was terrible going
today, I don't think Spence is very good going forward on the left. Maybe
Okay,
right,
fair enough.
we're likely to see, but on the left, I think he doesn't offer anything because he has to cut in or he has to pass the ball
Whereas-
back for me.
I've actually
So-
seen him go forward quite well a couple of times, Spence, when we've played him there, but it's not his strongest point because he is a fullback, not a wing back. They are two total different positions and two total different styles of play. Yeah, you need your wing back. It does help if your wing back can defend, but it depends how you want to play a game. If you're going to use your wing backs as overlapping wing backs, that's why you have three at the back, basically, yeah, so that they can do their job going forward. Udogi is not a defensive type of player. He's better defending than Porro, but that's not bloody hard. Spence is actually what you call a fullback. Them two are not
You've got
fullbacks.
to remember
in any
what
means or
Spence has
manner.
had in front of him at left wing as well. To be fair, I mean he's been
Mm.
playing with
Agreed.
other than today, and Simmons is settling in. I mean, I saw some people saying on Twitter he had an outstanding debut. For me, Simmons had a good debut. You can see he's
Yeah.
obviously classy, but he's settling in and he's got more to learn. In the other games, Spence has had Brennan Johnson playing in front of him, and he's literally been having to point to tell Johnson where to run when he's got the ball. And then to your point, Savva, he's having to come inside naturally. Then
Yeah.
Johnson's also having to. So we've had a really dysfunctional left side anyway, right? So Spence would probably look better if and it comes back to come back to your point, Sav, which is this is why we should have signed a proper left winger. Anyone that's playing left back would look better if they had a proper left winger in front of them. So yeah, I mean, I think we've got a nice problem, to be honest, with the fullbacks personally, because I think we've
I
got
agree.
three that
I
are
agree.
very, very good, and for different games will offer something a bit different. I think that's far from being a problem.
I would add to that as well. Add to that, I think we've got fantastic, we're strong, but I think we've got a really good position centre back as well. I know. I was kind of pointing at the end of that conversation, and I know a lot of people love Romero, and I think he's very good on the ball. But for me, Danso is light years ahead defensively. Defensively, he's light years ahead of Romero for me. I don't think he can do all the nice stuff on the ball and the fancy dance done. But if a ball's being whipped into the box, I'll back Danso over any of them. If the ball's there for a 50-50 challenge, I'll back Danso over any of them. So again, I think it's a really good position to have Danso and Dragoshin coming back. That's four very good centre backs.
I think Danso for me is the perfect defender for any squad, right? Like he's no frills, no nonsense. There's nothing sexy about it.
Solid.
He just defends. He defends, and I do like it when I think when we're talking about defenders, we've kind of, as the decades have gone by, lost talking about them as defenders first. We talk about ball carrying, bringing the ball out and passing. First and foremost, I want to know that my centre half is going to put his head on the ball. I know, call me old school. I want to know my centre half's putting his head on the ball. I want to know my centre half's throwing his body on the line. All the other stuff after that, that's nice to have. Right, they're bonuses, they're add-ons to your game, right? They're USPs. But Danso for me, since he's come into the club, I don't think he's done anything wrong. I think he's had some really good games. I think he's the best centre half we've got in the air. I've got no problem if we lost one of the centre halves and Danso has to play. I don't think it's a big drama. I don't. I think he's and Dragoshin, by the way, just to add him in as well. A lot of people have only judged Dragoshin seeing him in an Ange Postecoglou high line. If you actually watched him when he was in Italy, and this goes back to Dan's point of when you watched them in the other league, when you actually watched him in Italy playing for a team that actually defended, and he was actually a defender, not a marauding sweeper. Dragoshin's a good defender. So I think we're covered at centre back. I do, and I think this is why when all were losing their mind. Oh my God, Vuskovic has gone on loan. Well, we're covered, aren't we? Aren't we covered at centre half? Like, I feel good there. Feel good.
How many centre backs do you want? And also, Vuskovic has got to play if you want him to develop. You can't give him 2 or 3 games a season. It's mental.
Can I give my
two are
2 cents
perfect
quickly?
for one thing quick, Ben. Either them two, yeah, are perfect for a no-nonsense centre back sitting in the middle of 2 ball-playing defenders. The problem that a lot of defenders have got now is the same problem that a goalkeeper has. They have to be able to play football better. Whereas a defender, a goalkeeper just used to have to stand in his line and be a good goalkeeper. These days, he's got a lot more to do to play as a sweeper keeper because literally 9.5 out of 10 teams play with a sweeper keeper now. Defenders now, more and more, have to be a ball-playing defender because we play out from the back a lot more. When you look at Jagusin, when you look at players like Danzo, they're just your old school John Terry. I'm not saying they're as good. They're your old school Tony Adams, Michael Keown, Ledley King sort of thing. Just a no-nonsense centre-back. When it comes to in the air, Van der Ven is absolutely
He's poor.
Terrible. He's pathetic. For his size and everything, he is absolutely shocking in the air. Jagusin, absolutely solid. Danzo, solid in the air. But as a ball-playing defender, neither of them two are particularly good at it. You need them against a ball-playing defender, like with a ball-playing defender, or you need the best way for them to is in the middle of 2 ball-playing defenders either side of them. Defenders are expected to do more than ever now, aren't they? Defenders are expected to play football now, not just defend, isn't it?
And you get the throw-ins out of him.
Yeah, he's got a good throw on him, Danzo, definitely.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's just I'm just to round off the defense just quickly. I really like seeing a defense that is a unit. I've missed that for 2 years. I've really missed not seeing a defense, and that's what we're seeing at the moment. 1 goal. I mean, I can't even. Sorry, what was the goal we conceded? It was Bournemouth, wasn't it? I can't even remember the goal.
It was deflected, wasn't it? It was a sort of good run. They didn't pick him up, and it deflected.
Oh yeah. So that 1 goal in our first 4 games. That doesn't mean we're going to keep a clean sheet every week, guys. Do you know what I mean? We're not going to keep 30 odd clean sheets in a season. But whoever came up with that stat at the beginning, I think it was you, Connor, that we're halfway to last season's clean sheet tally already. Like that's crazy after 4 games. So I really like what he's done with that, and I think we will see. If you have an injury at the centre half, I don't think it's going to be as bad as before.
No,
I genuinely don't. Even if Davis has to play centre half for 5-6 games, it won't look as bad because we won't be asking Ben Davis to play a high line and rely on pace. He'll be a defender. So I think we're sorted there for the time being. I do.
I also think the goalkeeper looks better. Like the goalkeeper looks miles better. He's more comfortable. I mean, Van der Ven today, he come out screaming to catch the ball. Van der Ven headed it on and kind of nearly made a hash of things. But compared to last season, Vicario was taking more touches, playing more balls. He's more comfortable. I think sometimes confidence breeds confidence. And if you've got confidence in your system and your manager, and you know that your defenders are going to defend, you can naturally have that relaxation in your game.
No,
can I just have a very quick 2 cents on Spencer Udogie? I'm very sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, so I just figured.
Go for it, man.
With Spence, look, I called for him to come off at half time. I thought he had an absolute shocker of a game. I was furious with him today. But I do think the debate about whether he's better going forward on the left or the right is a little bit mute because I've seen Spence have fantastic games on the left, attacking wise. I really have. I think he's been brilliant down the left at times. Whether it be more consistent on the right, I don't know. But I've seen him have fantastic games going forward on the left. So I just think today it was just a very, very poor game from him. On Udogie, ever so quick, I'm actually with Dan on this. I think he's very good at going forward. And I also think, in my opinion, he can be incredibly dangerous. I think some of the crosses and passes he does put in just don't tend to be finished too often. I feel like his only issues are injuries and consistency. If he can sort those 2 out, I think we've got a very, very good left back on our hands. I don't know.
He's playing in the right way. I mean, since he basically came to Spurs, he hasn't been able to play to his sink, to his right way of football. And you can say that with Porro, since Ange came in, he was having to invert when neither of them are inverted. But every time it actually comes to going forward, I'll agree his final delivery ain't great. But then that's exactly what I say with Bergville. He's very good at getting the ball, getting forward with the ball, very good going forward. But his final delivery, majority of the time, isn't too great. His final pass or his final shot. But today he got it right. But a majority of the time, that's the bit he has to improve on. But Udogi's definitely good at going forward with the ball. Yes, his final delivery isn't great.
I don't think he has been at Spurs, is the point. I agree with you, Dan. I watched him for Udinese when he was playing as a wing back, and I thought he was excellent. I've been disappointed with Udogi since he's come to Tottenham Hotspur. But as you said, injuries, fitness, in and out the team. Ange, but listen, and I don't want to talk about Ange again, but a lot has to go back to the way we've been playing for 2 years to a lot of these players. For example, a player that I don't think is particularly great on the ball, but I think is brilliant off the ball and good in the box, someone like Sarr. How good would Sarr have been if he had been coached for the last 2 years instead of being in a kind of kamikaze? I don't know. These are all up in the airs. I'm not sure, but a lot goes back to that man for me. And this is why when people just go, he won you a trophy, there's so much more to it than just winning that trophy. There's, players that for me, Udogi, let's be fair, Dan, to your point, right? I was really excited when we signed Udogi. For 2 years, I don't think he's been developed. I don't think he's been developed in any way, shape, or form. By now, we should have 2 really good years of Udogi. Maybe year 1, you go okay, finding your feet. Year 2, you should be seeing a really, really good season. Sarr, we should have seen more from in the last 2 years. So for me, a lot has to be answered from that man. If I'm brutally honest,
Sav, wasn't he better for Conte? Because I feel like if anyone he would have flourished under, this is Udogi, by the way. I feel like anyone who Udogi would have flourished under would have been Conte. If I'm not mistaken, wasn't he brought for him but didn't play under him? Am I right?
No, we got him, but he was on loan. They kept him on loan basically for another season. We bought him, but he was kept on loan. And he was bought as a wing back. Because again, he's a wing back. He's not a full back.
But is it fair to say, though? Is it fair to say, though, Sav? I agree with what you're saying. And I do agree with everything you've said about Udogi. But say, for example, if we pick out another young player like Bergvall, there's been moments where I've gone, there's a player there, needs adapting, real good player in there somewhere. I haven't seen nothing like that to say that about Udogi. Unless I'm being harsh, but I haven't looked at him and gone, there's a real player in there. Yeah, the way he beats his man or the way he does this. I haven't seen that. But like Bergvall, for me, I go, yeah, you've got something. You're very raw, but you've got something. So for me, I don't know if it's our fans blowing him up more than he should. He's been here 2 years. I don't know if I've seen anything from him to go, you're going to be.
What do you call getting forward with a ball, James? What do you call getting forward with a ball?
What do you mean getting forward? Well, getting forward with the ball is dribbling, but there's more to it than that, isn't there?
Well, explain it to me then.
Well, getting forward with the ball is getting a ball and tracking up pitch.
Mm-hmm. Which he does very well, but you said he doesn't deliver very often with it. I agree with that. But getting forward with it, he gets forward, I think, much cleaner and much better than Spence.
I can't remember.
I would disagree because I think he gives it away before he does anything with it. So, yeah, all right, fair play. He gets to the byline better and quicker than Spence. Fair play. But
Spence is better at cutting in, I'll agree that.
But what uses him to get him forward with the ball if he's going to lose it?
Yeah, I agree.
But I can see what you're saying with that. But all I was saying at the time, he's better at getting forward with the ball. It's like saying with Bergvall, he gets the ball and he's good at getting forward with it. But apart from today, what do you really see out of him when it comes to the final third? So just because I'm saying like Bergvall is good at getting forward with the ball, it's just his final delivery is few and far between, which he needs to improve on. Where he's young, he can improve on it. What do you need your wing back to? What do you need your overlapping wing back to? Go forward. Get forward with the ball.
The thing
the final delivery on it, you need the final delivery. The reason I think you might have said Spence looks better at getting forward is because all the time he was getting played inverted and then being able to cut in with it. He was definitely better at doing that than Udogi. I'll go with you on that.
I just don't think he gives the ball away as much. Like it's all well and good saying Oh, but he drives with the ball really well. But it's all right with me saying, well, Sarr is everywhere. But he's everywhere as a headless chicken. There's no good in that.
I
Like,
think his
yeah, he
link-up
may
play
do.
is very good. I think
Don't
it's
you
a
think,
bit.
though, James? So with a player like Sarr, see, this is the thing when we debate, and just to a point that Chris just made and posted in the thing, just because Spurs won doesn't mean that we have to come out here and clap like seals and say that every single Tottenham Hotspur player is the greatest footballer in the world. It would be so boring if we just all came on here and agreed, right? Sorry, I just had to get that in because it makes me laugh. I think there's certain players that are good for certain occasions. So I can appreciate let's use Sarr, for example. Do I think Sarr's a good player with the ball, technically, passing? No, I don't. I don't actually think he's anything special on the ball. I think he's actually quite poor on the ball. Like today in the first half, you saw he had loads of grass to run into. And anyone who watched my watch along would have heard me say this a number of times. He's got all this grass to run into. He's not comfortable on the ball, so he lays it off to someone else. But that's not his game. His game is breaking up. His game is, breaking up play. His game is the box to box. His game is destroying. His game is drifting into the box now, which he started to develop a bit of a thing for in the last 2-3 months. But some players are right for certain games. Do you know what I mean? Some players are not. So, for example, someone made the point earlier, that midfield today isn't a ball-playing midfield, is it? That's not a midfield that you would pick if you want to have all the ball and dominate a game of football. It's just not. They're not, they're not people that put their foot on the ball, keep it, move it. They're more engines that was in there today, right? You got your Destroyer and Paulinho, and then Sarr and Bergvall are engines. That's brilliant in certain games. In other games, that won't work. So when people say, "Oh, so and so's brilliant," yeah, different things. Some people have it all. Rodri has it all, right? Doesn't he? He's the best midfielder in the world. Yeah. He has it all, right? Other players don't have it all. Other players are brilliant technically, don't have the work rate. Others have the work rate, not brilliant technically. Some people can pass. Some people can destroy. And I think we've got to stop thinking that just because a player is being critiqued, right, that you don't like them or rate them. For example, Bergvall today. I thought Bergvall first half, I think James is right. First half today, I thought he did look a bit headless chicken-like. Now, that's not to say that I think he's a bad player. Just the first half, I didn't really know what he was doing. Second half, he put his foot on the ball a bit more. Second half, he had a bit more about him. He was looking up, giving the old give and go. He was, and I think, do you know what? It's the first time I think I've agreed with Phil Coyes in about 5 years. It's about having the balance. And don't get me wrong, we're on to your mate Tell very soon, Phil. We're going to talk about your mate Tell very soon. So to round off what I'm saying, I just think that people have got to stop thinking that every player is going to be good at everything. And it's knowing which games suit which players. Last thing I'll say on this.
Can I just add to that point when you finish it? Sorry.
Yeah. Sorry. Last thing I'll say, Connor. Sorry. Last thing I'll say on it is this. If I've got a winger who I know is excellent at taking his man on over and over and over again, playing against us, and you say to me, who do I want to play against that player? That's where I want Jed Spence. I want Jed Spence. He's quick, he's strong, he's good in the tackle, and his pockets are filling up with wingers, right? If you're saying to me, right, we're going to have all the ball today, we're going to have all the ball, and I want fullbacks that are brilliant going forward, I might opt for a Dogie or Porro instead of Jed Spence. But I don't think everything needs to be this massive inquest into every player. Do you know what I mean? But sorry, Connor, go on, mate.
No, I completely agree. And I think the problem with exactly what you just said was really highlighted over the last couple of years because people were playing in positions that didn't maximise their strengths and they were being misprofiled. So I think when we get to, we've only got a small sample set under Frank at the moment. It's, 4 competitive games plus the Super Cup final, right? So I think we'll see this as the season goes on. Like players like Udogie, I think there's a bit of recency bias when we make our assessment of Udogie here. In his first year, most pundits were putting him in their team of the year, by the way, at left back. So he had a good first season. He then got a horrific knee injury towards the end of the where he was out for four months all across summer. And then Ange rushed him back, if you remember, because Ange didn't want to pick Spence at the start of the season, and we didn't sign a left back. He was rushed back, got injured again, and he's been really stop-start since then. So I think once you've now got a coach in Frank that will actually play players to their strengths rather than getting, Udogie to pick the ball up where Maddison should have been picking the ball up, being that overlapping fullback that Dan talks about, I think you'll see a huge improvement in him, and I think it's really highlighted with our defence, right? Because for me, right now, I look at our defence. It's a top 5 defence in the league for sure, right? In terms of, if we're aiming to finish 5th, I think absolutely the defence is good enough. And we can go through the other, I think we've got a better defence than Chelsea, for example. I think our centre halves are better than what they've got a centre half. I think Porro's better. Or if Reece James can stay fit, he's obviously good, but he's always out. And then Cucurella and who we play at left back is probably comparable. So it just that's the prime example, isn't it? Because under Ange, we looked an absolute shambles at the back. Actually, the players are obviously of quality, and we're now seeing that. And we've definitely got a top 5 defence for me. The rest of the team is a bit more murked. So hopefully, Simmons and Muani make the forward line better, because I think that certainly wasn't a top 5 forward line beforehand. But yeah, I think there's lots to be positive about at the moment, and I think we've got nice problems at fullback, as I said before.
Yeah, completely. Guys, let's move on. I want to do a positive before we talk about Tell, because the Tell conversation I think is going to be interesting. I want to do a positive though. I really like that we're starting to see a tiny bit of depth now. When you looked at that bench today, yeah, we can all go, oh, I didn't like this lineup, or I didn't like that player starting. But you start looking now and you go, okay, I've got Bentancur on the bench, as opposed to when we had the likes of Ollie Skip on the bench. Like, you got Bentancur's on the bench. You've got a Kolo Muani coming off the bench. Brennan Johnson, who, whatever we think of him as a footballer, is a good option to come off the bench and grab a goal. Ben Davis is a solid pro to come off the bench. Danso on the bench. Kinski. It's starting to look a little bit healthier, isn't it, chaps? And for me, backing onto this point, Frank's doing the right thing for me. Frank's really doing the right thing. And we've got Champions League coming up. I think he's really doing the right thing with the number of players he's using, rotating. I'll chuck that out to anyone.
It did look it today, didn't it? Like when we spoke about it again. I mean, I think one of the biggest problems we have had is, even if we have had, if you want to call it that, but players we've had on the subs bench, they've basically been exactly the same player that you take off. Exactly. You haven't been able to change your style as such. I think we have we could change a style of play basically with a sub or two sort of thing. Whereas last season, we couldn't do that in any way. We can go that bit more defensive or that little bit more attacking when we've got our full team there, basically. I think that's a difference it does make. And the subs bench, it looked more, I won't say it looked good, but it looked more stable, I think is the better way to put it, is the way I can describe it. Whereas if you looked at it the other week, you looked at it and you just thought, what the f is that, basically? Whereas this week, it actually looked a stable subs bench as such. You wouldn't be so scared if, say, Van der Ven got injured or Romero got injured. Not that you want them to, but you had someone like Danso to come on. Something happens up front. We still had Richarlison and Muane sitting there. Or if something went wrong on the left, we've still got Muane or Richarlison there. And not that I rate Richarlison, but it looked a bit more stable, basically, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I would agree. And when you kind of obviously being a bit more positive, you've got the likes of James Maddison, Kulu coming back. They're again for me they're better than both Sarr and Bergvall for me. So again, you're then knocking down Sarr or Bergvall to the bench or whoever, So again, that is all positive. It's all massive positive. For me now, I don't feel like we need any more squad players. We just need that nice sprinkle of magic on top of what we've got to then kind of kick on. Like, I know we said we was going to move on to it, but like a new striker, or if Simmons is going left, or whichever position we're going to fill there. So like I agree with the depth. You can't moan. I mean, even Solanke, you don't rate him, but he ain't the worst sub to bring on. You know, it is kind of we're there or thereabouts. This is why I don't think I said earlier to Sean. I think we're probably 150 to 200 million away from being a very good team because you could buy 3 or 4 very good players for that money, and you're then pushing.
You see, James, with that one, I mean, I'm going to go by something what Luke said on the show that I did with him, and I think he put it the best way I've heard someone put it. I don't think we need star players, not yet. I don't think we need £100 million players yet. I think by going by what he said, and I totally agree with him, we need another 2 or 3 50, 60 million pound players before we then go and get that star player as such. I feel we need to build on that team that little bit more and then go out and spend your 100 million, 110 million and get your star player in there, get your Declan Rice sort of player in there to get control a bit or whatever.
Can I ask why?
Because we can build the squad better like that and we can make it a stronger first 11 before you just go and get that one player.
But that's what I'm saying. Say, for example, you was to go out now and spend £80 million on a striker, and then you would say you're going to play Simmons left, for example, just while we're here, and they went out and bought Morgan, Gibbs, White for a cam. I don't get why you wouldn't do that. Why would you not go spend too big on those 2 players to take you to the next level? I think sometimes we get caught in this. We don't need to buy those just yet. So we'll settle for a Richarlison and go, oh, he's crap. Or we'll go buy a Solanke. Oh, he's crap. Or we'll go spend 30 million on a Tell. Oh, well, he's crap.
But I wouldn't go and do that. They were stupid buys as far as I'm concerned. I'm not talking about that. We could go out and we could have bought significantly better players than what we did with Poxy, Archie Gray, than what we did with Tell, than what we did with Odebert. So I'm totally agreeing on that. When I'm saying 50, 60 million players, I'm talking like players like Kudus, basically.
You're talking about the Siemens, the Kuduses, those types of players. Yeah.
I would, personal opinion, okay, if we can go and get a striker for 80 million that's going to bang it in all day long, I'm with you, yeah? But I would say overall for the size of the 11, the squad and everything else, I think we would do better off with, say, 460, get 4 more Kuduses instead of, say, 2 out quality players as such. I think it would work better in that way. And then once you've got an extremely stable team and also a stable subs bench, then go and get your 110 million pound player to then take you up to another level as such.
So would you bring Kane back in that theory? Would you bring Kane back then, Dan? Because forget the 100 million, forget the price tag. Kane is a world-class player. If we're saying we don't want to go and sign those top world-class players yet, would you bring Kane back?
For the 100, I'm talking about like paying 100 million, 90 million for a player. You see, the thing is with Kane, there's that side of me that says no, because I just don't want to go backwards again, sort of thing. He is going to be 33, but I still think he's a player that's going to be able to last until he's 35, 36, because he doesn't rely on his pace. And where he doesn't rely on his pace, he can last a lot longer than players like Son, for instance. As soon as he started losing his legs, he basically lost a lot of his game, didn't he? Same as the perfect example, Michael Owen. Excellent striker. As soon as he lost his legs, bang, game over basically for him. He wasn't even a third of the player he was. If we could pull in Kane for something like 35 million, 40 million, why not?
Oh, mate. Could you imagine Kane with Simmons and Kudus?
I could go with that. Because the other thing is, I say that one is because I think probably the most limited player out there you can buy at the moment, it is extremely hard to get a decent striker out there. Whereas if you go back 20 years, it was defenders that were that bit harder to find and there were strikers all over the place. Now it seems to have come back on itself where there's plenty of defenders out there and good ones out there to get, but the strikers are very few and far between. Would I want to go and spend 60 million on Kane? No, I wouldn't. Because of his age.
No, you wouldn't.
No.
60 million.
But if we could go and get him for 45 mil, 50 mil, why not? But then on the other side of it, it's not my money. So if we get him and he scores the bloody goals, then so be it.
Do you not think someone like Kudus, whose natural reaction is get to that byline and cross that ball, that Harry Kane would not have a field day?
I'm not saying he wouldn't play well. I'd
But,
be quite happy to
surely,
get
if we're caring about Tottenham and where they finish, and we want them to be the best they can, then you get the best striker in the world in to play in that team. Surely.
No, I can go with having Kane back.
You're talking about a player who is very much like Lewandowski. He'll be world class all the way up until he's about 37, because that is how what his game is based on. Isn't pace, it's intelligence, you know. So I feel like even if you bought, do you know what I mean? Even if you bought Kane at say 33, you've still got 4 solid years with Harry Kane. I mean, he's just, I feel like you'd be getting a world class player for another solid,
No, do you know what? Okay, that's a fair point. No, that's a fair point. I'll step back on that one. You're right. I'll step back on that one.
Is it fair to say as well? Is it fair to say as well that he would step back into the number 10 role and still be our best passer of the club? So there is options for him to then drop back and still be an elite footballer for us.
Because he can play as a 10 and passes. That season he played as more of a 10 than he did an actual striker. Well, played the best of both worlds as such. For me, there was only one person passing better than him, and that was Kevin De Bruyne. Apart from that, I think he was the best passer from a 10 position in the Premier League at that time, bar Kevin De Bruyne. Agreed. So you know what? With what you're saying there, we can also use him as the 10 as well. No, I'll step back on what I say. I got that one wrong. Yeah, fuck it. Go get Kane. Yeah.
I think if you're going to sign Kane, you do also need to sign an outstanding left winger as well, though. Because I can't watch Kane being playing down the middle and then not having someone out on the left. That is also, I can't. It comes back to that point. I mean, the only I personally, I could see Kane going to Barcelona. I think, I know this is a hypothetical debate anyway, but it stinks of me for him being the replacement for Lewandowski. He gets the prestige of playing for a Barcelona. That's the type of deal they love to do because they're a bit skint as well. But yeah, I mean, back to the point just quickly in terms of what we need to do. I read a tweet today and it said drop 150 million, 160 million on Semenyo and Walton, and suddenly this team looks completely different again. Because you've got that out and out left winger, and then Adam Morton, you've got that deep lying passer that can play with Paulinho. Now we've got Muani, hopefully, who's going to come off in the 9. Again, that's that step up, because I think we've seen already, haven't we, in these 4 or 5 games, what difference signing players of the caliber of Paulinho, Simmons, Kudus can do just in terms of that step up. It's night and day from what we've been watching in those positions, isn't it? And I think so that's why for me, I don't think we're that far away. I think we've got a good chance of 5th this year if we're lucky with injuries. I think we could finish anywhere between 5th and 8th, depending on what happens with injuries. And I think we're helped by the fact that Villa obviously look quite poor. I think Newcastle have had a mixed-ish start to the season. Obviously, the Isak thing was not helpful for them. The top 4 will be the top 4 probably, but I don't think we're miles away.
Connor, you said about signing a left winger. Do you not think Simmons and Muani and Kudus is enough if you used to have Harry Kane to that?
No, it's not one of those.
Well, I was assuming, to be fair, that Kane would be instead of Muani, because I think Muani would then go back off the line.
Just quickly, have you noticed how nearly everything we've talked about today somehow goes back to the left winger? So when you're talking about the left back, right? Well, that can't function properly till you get the left winger. We're talking about strikers scoring goals. Well, at the moment, they've got nothing coming from the left wing. You're talking about midfielders feeding wingers. This is why, guys, I will argue this on Blue in the Face. This was the biggest mistake. When people are going on at me, oh my God, look how good our window was. We missed a golden opportunity here. We missed a massive opportunity by not bringing in a left winger. We would look so much better if we had a top left winger. I truly believe that, guys. I'm sure some of you saw the row I had with Lubo yesterday on my show. And I get his point. I can't do everything in one window. I wasn't asking for everything in one window. I wanted my left winger. You sold Son. You knew he was going. You had to replace him, and we didn't. And that, for me, is the difference between why I don't think we're going to be top 4 this year and why I think we're going to be 6th.
I could have forgiven the club. Yeah, I could have forgiven the club for doing that and not the Moani deal, actually, and saying, we're going to wait until next summer to get a marquee striker signing. Because for that, to your point on the left wing, I just think for me it was unforgivable that wasn't replaced, because Son should have been succession planned before he even left anyway,
For
given
sure.
he was our
Sure.
most important player over the last sort of 7 years, other than Kane. And then you've known for that whole summer you've had him leave. Plus, we then have also had the benefit of getting Paulinho in on loan, and so haven't had to spend 60 million plus on a number
Yeah.
6, and again Moani on loan. So you had that opportunity to spend there if you wanted to. For me, and I don't think yet. I made this point before because people make the point, oh, it's better that we wait for Savino. Well, what if he doesn't come in January?
Yeah.
You know,
That's my
we're
point.
not in Liverpool's position where we can wait for the perfect signing. There's about 10 or 15 left wingers in world football probably, and I can't name them, that would improve us. I mean, stick one of us
I
out on the
reckon
left,
there's
it's
10 or
better than
15
Brennan
left wingers
Johnson,
in the
right? So
championship that would improve our
yeah,
left wing. If we're going to be brutally
yeah,
honest, I
it
think
was
we're
unforgivable.
so bad out there. I think we're
the
so
annoying-
bad out on that left-hand side. Any of the options on the left for me, I don't look at any of them and think Premier League player. I don't. Whether it's Richarlison as a left winger, whether it's Odegaard, whether it's Tell, I don't look at any of them and go, "Cool, yeah, you're a good player." Genuinely.
It's the annoying thing was, if you take the 4 players, just the 4 players as they are, we had a good transfer window because we had 4 players that literally walk into that first team, not struggle. But when you take it apart, like me and you were saying with Lupo yesterday, I think it was, or the day before, whatever, the fact that 2 of them was on loan, well, surely that left us the option then to go and get that left winger, or it gave us the option to go and get another number 10, because Savvy can play on the left just as good as he can play in the middle. He played on the left more last season than he did in the middle, and his GA is, I think, bar a goal the same. So we could have even gone out and got a 10. Now, I think you'll get the most out of Savvy in the middle as a 10, personally. But I don't think he's such a scapegoat there, sort of square peg, round hole sort of thing. I'm putting him on the left. I think he's just as good on either bit. So if we went out and got Simmons, right, we can't get a left winger. Right, you're going as the left winger. We could have gone out and got a number 10. We still had an option of getting one or the other, and we only bought 2 of those players, basically. And that was the really frustrating thing about it, where the other 2 on loan, we didn't go out for Moani. Moani was just there on the last minute, and we just snatched him up. Simple as that, really. We weren't waiting for nothing. He was going Juventus, it fell through. And Levy, doing one thing he's good at, is that he's just snapping up a little deal out of nowhere, basically. So with that, you can say Moani can go on the left. You can say Richarlison on the left. There's players you can put on the left, but they're more of a scapegoat there on the left.
Suboptimal, isn't it?
Yeah. They're more of a scapegoat on the left than Savvy on the left. Savvy on the left is a lot more natural compared to the rest of them because he's just as good there as in the middle. I think he's slightly better in the middle. What I've seen of him off both sides, he's just as good on either side, basically. But
you could see, even today, Damo, you could see, couldn't you, that when Xavi Simmons
we
gets
needed
the
him.
ball, he doesn't.
Gets into the middle.
His natural game is he drifts into the middle. He wants to be in the middle. He was interviewed after the game. I don't know if you guys have all seen this, and they said, "Where do you see yourself playing?" And he said, "I'm a number 10." He said, "Last couple of years, I've developed playing out on the left, but I'm a number 10." And I keep seeing people saying things in the chat like, "We can make do until January." I'm so bored of hearing crap sentences like that. I'm so bored of every summer. There's always a caveat to why we have to wait until the next window. Do you know what I mean? There's always a caveat. We should have this window to really make this great. That left winger for me would have made it a 10 out of 10 window. That left winger, maybe not because of some of the outgoings, but that left winger was absolutely everything. And now I can't help but look at our team, and I'm always going to be, every week I'll say the same thing. When people ask me what 11 I pick, I'll pick the 10 and then go and whoever on the left, because we don't have a natural left winger of talent. Odegaard, sorry, not good enough. Tell is not a left winger. We're going to talk about him next. Richarlison, he'll work hard out there, won't he? He will. We know he'll work hard out there, but he's not going to be whipping in great crosses, is he, for a centre forward? And the other one is Johnson, who isn't a left winger. So I will
Yeah.
I will go to my grave with this one, guys. This was the biggest missed opportunity in many a transfer window. It was there, the money's there, Son's gone, so the spot is there. Really disappointing.
And we
I
also
think
had
that's the
money
biggest-
off
that's
of
the biggest
Son,
problem.
Gil. It's just the two of them was on loan, and we had money off Son and Gil as well. We could have gone and done that.
I think
think
that's
it was
the
a
biggest
massive
problem.
smoke
To be fair,
Okay.
with in terms of frustration, like for me, look, that was a great transfer window for Tottenham Hotspurs. But I think for all accounts, I mean, you got to think, you get 34 million euros for winning the Europa League. You've then got getting into the Champions League. You've got that money coming in as well. So I think the frustrating thing is, as fans, sitting back knowing you spent about roughly 120, 125 million overall in the transfer window, you can't help but feel like the money was there for a winger. And the question has to be asked, why wasn't one brought? I mean, we had targets, so what stopped us from pulling the trigger? Has anyone got a theory on that? Because
I think that we're the kid. I think our fan base are the king of excuses. No matter what happens, there's an excuse. No, it doesn't
Bang on.
matter. It would be so. We bought in 4 quality players, and we have. There's no question in that at all. But when you only spend, 120 million, for example, you sell Son, that takes it down to 100. I think we got the Højbjerg money this summer, if I'm not correct. That's a bit
Yeah, we
more.
Brian
So,
Hill.
so what we're talking about, 80 million outlay. But because we've got 4, it's almost like, when you're a kid, it's like the old crappy magic tricks. Look over here, but what we're actually doing is saving money here. That's exactly what I think they're doing, and they're going. But the quality we come in was good. Yeah, but it wasn't enough. Yeah, but Levy went. Yeah, but Munn went. Yeah, but and went. Like, this is a big process. And it's like, well, hold on a minute. Like, why not? Like, it's sick and tired of like accepting mediocrity. It's like there's always an excuse, or we have to wait because the bigger fish is around the corner. It's like, well, I don't want to wait. I just want to fucking go and get that bigger fish.
Yeah, but I don't want to just go out and buy that bang average player to fill the gap either. But
he wasn't linked with any bank. This was the first window. I've got an Arsenal fan. Yeah, no, I know. This is the first window, and this is where I will give the club money. Every player we was linked with, he goes, what do you reckon? I'm like, oh my God, if only we get him. I think it was Semenyo, Eza, Kudos, Simmons. I'm like, oh my God, yeah, any of them. Like, please. It's the first window, one after another, after another, and after another, after another, where they were all very, very good players. Lookman, very good player. There's just every player we was linked with was like, right, you're head and shoulders above everything we've got. And then it always just seems to be like, now we'll reel that one back in. It's like, it's always
doesn't make a lot of sense, right?
We should have got Grealish. It was there for the taking, but the majority of Spurs fans, and I will say the majority, no, he's not good enough. He's a pisshead. He's this, he's that. He ain't good enough for us and that. And I agree with what you're saying, James. The thing is with this, there's a very thin line between a reason, because there's a reason for everything as far as I'm concerned. And then there's that thin line between an excuse. Very thin line between them. And you can give something as a reason a couple of times, but then give that reason too many times, it becomes an excuse, basically. Grealish, we should have snapped him up on loan as well. If we weren't going to buy no one for it and we knew who we wanted to go for, maybe we could go for him next season or go for someone of the same standard and that. He would have been perfect to fix that gap for the meantime, same as Moane and Paulinho. But most Spurs fans said he was not good enough for us.
Does anybody think it lies on Levy? Does anybody feel like it lies on Levy as to why we didn't go and snap up a left winger as well?
I think it just
is that too harsh?
What we always do, isn't it? Under Enoch, is that we don't go the extra mile. I think for me the problem is and to build on the points that you've all made, I think when I was saying earlier that I think we've got a good chance of finishing 5th, if we had signed a top left winger, I think we would have finished 5th. I think we would have. The ones that we're talking about, the likes of Semenyo, even Lookman, Savva, that sort of similar level of quality to a Simmons and a Kudos. If we'd signed that on the left wing, I think we would have finished 5th. And then it comes back again of Tottenham fans always feeling like, if we'd just done this, we would have. I reckon we could be having these conversations at the end of the season where we finish 6th or 7th, and you've missed out on Champions League and all of that money over probably less money in terms of signing a player to get yourself there, and that's the frustrating thing for us as Spurs fans. And you think of all of that extra money that would have come in, it's just a huge opportunity cost. And as I say, I don't think we're ready yet to be waiting for a potential Savino signing in January, which may or may not happen when there
And
was
we haven't
plenty
got
of
that.
options.
We haven't got that get out of jail free card either, have we?
But that doesn't even make any sense. Why would we be able to get Savino in January? Can someone explain that to me? Am I just being silly?
The possibility of getting him in January is if he doesn't get enough game time. And there were rumours that they were willing to sell, but just not to Levy as well. Rumours, I know. But if he doesn't get enough game time, he needs that game time for the World Cup, basically. So there would be a good chance that we would be able to sign him in January. And now that Levy's not here and that, but we'd still need to rely on that then City are willing to sell him and that he would want to still come to us and everything else. It's always buts and maybes.
I'm going to go right out there. Do you feel like the only possible way of getting Savino in January would also, do you think maybe would be a transfer request? Do you think it would get to that point, or is that just not a possibility?
I don't think you'll see a transfer request, because if he does a transfer request, then any money or deals that he's got are blown out, basically.
Forego, yeah.
I think you might see some in January, because you've got players like Savio who want to get in the World Cup squad. If he's not playing, he's got a limited window ahead of the World Cup.
Yeah, that's basically what I was saying.
The thing is, though, to Benji's point, this is I agree with it. This whole we'll wait and get a player in this date. It's all well and good. We always talk about what we need to do, but we never think about the selling club, right? So, for example, this is a really good point, right? Now, what if come the January window, we go, yeah, right, it's all going to happen. Savio's going to join. Yeah. What if a week before that window opens, Man City lose one of their wingers for 6 months with an ACL? Suddenly they go, you're not having Savio. And this is why I think it's very dangerous when you plan around somebody else's player, right? When you plan around, don't worry, we'll get him in January. We'll get, unless that guy's on a free transfer, you've got no guarantee. Things happen at football clubs. But listen, I do want to talk before we finish, because I do want to keep it under 2 hours tonight. I do want to talk. We need to talk about Tell, and then we're going to talk about the refs. Guys, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but isn't it getting to the stage now where aren't people like, I don't know about you lot, I'm starting to feel sorry for Tell when I watch him play, rather than me just going, you're not very good. I'm actually watching going, this isn't fair. Does that make sense? I'm watching him going, you should not be at Tottenham Hotspur. And I'm not talking about one game. I'm not talking about today. Today was a great chance, though, even against 10 men. When he was on the pitch for about 25, 30 minutes against 10 men, you're thinking, come on, mate, this is your moment. His all-round game, guys, is absolutely terrible. He's not strong. He's not quick. His shooting's poor. His passing's poor. His hold-up play, he's not good in the air. I'm really, really... I feel sorry for him. This boy should be on loan somewhere.
So the worrying thing for me, the worrying thing for me, like you, I tried to be positive about it, because I thought, I could see the reasons why he picked him today, because of Muani not being fully fit and Richarlison just being jet lagged or whatever. And I thought this is a huge opportunity for him. It's against the average West Ham team at best.
Yeah.
To take an opportunity. And for me, I think the really worrying thing is I get that you're maybe not quite used to the physicality of the Premier League, so your hold-up play is going to be not great. But his movement, there's no movement at all. There's no dynamism. There's no off-the-ball movement, great an option. The amount of times, I actually think, I'd love to see the stats, and maybe someone can prove me wrong, but I think he lost every single duel when the ball was passed into his feet, and the centre-back just took it off him like as if it was, me taking a toy off my 4-year-old daughter. Right, it was
that through ball, Connor, that Simmons done for him, and he just got totally bossed off the ball, didn't he? And didn't
Carl
even
Walker-Peters
over the defender.
Yeah, by Carl Walker-Peters, by the way. So it's not, it's not Maldini running and marking him. It's sort of, it's just, I don't know. It's unfortunately for me, I'm getting to the similar stage, and I think we all look back at it now and we go, particularly as we haven't signed a left winger. That's 35, 40 million. Where you go, one, that looks really bad. It's terrible
Yeah.
squad building. So yeah, for me, really, really disappointing. And after scoring a good goal actually for France under 21s, I don't know if anyone saw it. It was a very good finish. You thought as well, okay, this is your time. Prove something after not being picked in the Champions League squad as well. Everything was there to give him the chance to take his opportunity, and he was absolutely shit. Shocking.
You know what? Can I just? I'm going to give the boys some credit a little bit here. Look, listen, I'm with you boys when it comes to Tell. I really am. He's not good enough, but I will credit him by saying this: his mentality is fantastic, and I also feel like he gets what it means to be at Tottenham Hotspurs. Which there's a lot.
What
of
does that
players out
mean?
there.
I'm calling bullshit. What does that mean?
I think no.
Calling
Okay, fair enough.
bullshit
So
immediately.
what I mean by that is, I feel like he feels the fans' frustrations. I mean, we've seen the clips of him speaking to fans. I believe, he's quite happy playing, wanting to play for Tottenham Hotspurs. I feel like he's one of those players that would give his all for the badge. My only concern is if it doesn't transfer onto the pitch, then what are we doing here? My other question is, I feel like the club may feel slightly backed into a corner because you paid 50 million for this guy. Can you just go and buy someone for that amount of money and then throw him out on loan? Like, would that not make you look pretty stupid?
Hang on, Benji. I wanna. Sorry, I've got to go back to your first point. Sorry, I've got. This isn't a charity.
I know.
This isn't Sunday League. Like when you used to, we've all played Sunday League or Saturday League, right? At a minimum level, right? This isn't where you go, oh, we need a new player. God, I'll get my mate. Is he any good? No, but he will work hard. He will, and he'll turn up sober. So he's all right. He'll turn up on Sunday sober. He wouldn't have.
I'm with you, mate. I am. Right? I just.
But so what are we crediting then? Are we crediting his personality? Because last time I checked, we're a football club. Like this, I'm getting bored. This is like the conversation when we have where we big up everyone for everything other than what they're meant to do. So when we say about strikers, we go, oh God, but isn't his pressing great? I don't know. That should not be your selling point to sell me a striker. Oh, but Solanke's pressing. I don't care. What does he do in front of goal? What's his footwork like? And the problem with Tell is I'm not even going to knock him for not scoring because a lot of that comes down to chance creation. But it's like Connor said, there's no movement. I keep being told he's quick. Today he looked like he was running in quicksand. Like, I genuinely don't know what he does. And yet still so many people constantly go, but he's young. You're playing for Tottenham Hotspur. Your age is now irrelevant to me, right?
I agree.
Your age is not irrelevant. You've put on the Tottenham shirt. Show me what you can do.
Are we forgetting the fact that he's getting like 100k a week or whatever he's getting as well? Do you know what I mean? Mate, I would die to play for Tottenham Hotspur, and I'll tell you what, I'd bloody work hard if he was going to give me 100 grand a week and all. Do you know what I mean? Whatever you want, I'll give it. I'll give it my all. For me, just because we have players like Brendan Johnson that do nothing, and then we have someone like Terry go, but don't he try hard? Well,
yeah.
If we're picking shit or shit, I'd rather have nothing, to be honest.
Exactly, with the try hard thing. Yeah, I get it. It's good to have a player that tries hard, got the right mentality and everything and all that. Don't get me wrong, that's all good. But if he can't deliver at the end of the day, what's the point? Try as hard as you want. I mean, that through ball that Simmons put through to him, he was actually ahead of the defender. The ball went perfectly in front of him, and the defender caught up with him, and he didn't even he just sort of like, get out of the way, you prick, and got the ball back and took it back, and he just stood there. And he has done absolutely nothing to justify that we even bought him. I mean, forget the 45 million bit. He's done nothing to justify that we buy him for 10 million, let alone 40, 45 million. I mean, you can even say that even Archie bloody Gray has shown more than Tell.
Gray's shown a lot more, loads more.
Yeah.
And
for me, Gray
already yet, but he's shown
for
a lot
me,
more.
Yeah, and for me, Gray is not good enough for the Premier League yet, let alone even good enough to be for Spurs. But if you're 18 or you're 19 or you're 25, if you're picked in that first 25 or you're picked in that first 11, I am going to judge you exactly the same way that I'm going to judge another player. The only leeway I'll give to a younger one is if you can see it's a mistake they've made through lack of experience. And you can usually spot that when it's lack of experience, yeah? You can cut on that leeway through it, basically. But when it comes to the rest of it, if you're getting paid 75 grand a week, okay, you can't choose the price of what you cost, but at the end of the day, you did cost 40 million, so people will expect off you and that. I'm going to judge you exactly the same way. If you are good enough to get picked on that first 11 or be even in that squad of 25, then I expect you to deliver on the pitch, basically. And the way you can give them leeway, like I said, is when you can see that it's a mistake through lack of experience, you can cut that bit of slack. But the rest of it, no. If you're 16 and you are classed as good enough to be on that pitch, you get judged the same, is the way I see it.
Dan, I almost get it. If you're a kid that's coming out of the academy, right? I almost get it where you might go, well, they've got a lot of learning to do. We spent the best part of 45 million pounds on this bloke, right? So this isn't a kid where you go, all right, we'll give him a chance from the academy. If it doesn't work out, and end up on loan at Preston and Sol, right? This is a bloke that we've actively gone out and spent 45 million of our budget. I think it was 35 million plus the 10 million loan fees, somewhere in those numbers, right?
It works out about 45 altogether.
And then I bring this back, as everything else in the show tonight, to the left winger position, and you go, are you kidding me? Lookman was there for 40 million quid. Money. Right? Lookman was there for 40 million quid, and we've spent more than that on Tell. And you just think, like, whose decision was this? Is this Lang?
Can I ask Ben a question? He was saying about he looks like he wants to fight for the club and be there. The only thing I've ever seen him fight or confront the club was the fans. He's never showed me that he fights on the pitch. Never showed me he wants to be there on the pitch.
You're going to have to forgive me, mate. I'm thinking with my heart. Make no mistake. When I say this, I mean it. I think Tell is one of, if not the worst player at the club. I'm going to throw that out there. But like Sav said earlier, it's getting to a point now where I feel a little bit guilty for him. And I do tend to think with my heart a little bit in certain situations like this. So I've got sympathy for the guy. But yeah, make no mistake, I'm with you boys. He's not good enough. And if it doesn't transfer,
you're a big softie, really, aren't you, Benji?
I am a little bit, mate. I feel bad for the guy.
I mean, I get what you're saying, Ben, on the sympathy side, whatever else, and I get that, and it bollocks. I don't care about the sympathy side. As all I care about is the football side. I'll say my saying on that. It's a dog-eat-dog world. If you ain't good enough, you ain't good enough. Just because you're trying hard and everything and that, fair play to you. Well done. I'll give you a Blue Peter badge in it. You ain't good enough. Get off. Gone. Yeah. That's where it comes down to me, where I don't really have the sympathy.
Dan, let me ask you.
I also get where you're coming from in the aspect of you feel for him, like in the aspect of why are you even here? You're going to cop it, basically. I do see where you're coming from.
Let me ask you something.
Misery.
If he plays for Stoke City, Birmingham, Charlton, just naming championship teams, would he stand out? Serious question. Would he stand out? I've seen nothing about him that makes me think,
no,
you know what?
Honestly,
even in the championship, I think you'd be a top player. I don't see it. I just think I think he's dreadful.
The other thing is with him going down into a league like that as well, I think he'd end up with no kneecaps left because he definitely ain't got the physicality for it either. I'm sorry, but he has done absolutely nothing of any sort. And it might, I don't care how harsh it sounds. At the end of the day, this is football. You want to be at the top, and people go on about like, right, we want to be at the top and that. But oh no, he's young. Give him a go. Give him a chance. Give him time. Bollocks! You ain't good enough. Go and get a player that can do that job.
What does Chelsea do with the youngsters who aren't good enough?
Is send them out on loan
and move on to the next.
Mm-hmm. And they sell them. They sell them, don't they? Every summer they sell 5 or 6 youngsters for about 200 million quid.
Maybe he might get better over the next 2-3 years, but I'm sorry, we haven't got 2 or 3 years to wait. We've got to get up into that top 4 or into that top 5 to progress into the future. We've got to start getting that Champions League consistently if our owners are intending on putting it further as such. If he's not good enough, he's not good enough. And he has done nothing to prove of any sort that he's even worth 10 million. No matter how harsh it sounds on his agent, that it is what it is.
But make no mistake, there will be people coming out saying, "Oh, you guys are being too harsh. You hate him." I'm pretty sure I speak for everybody on this panel when I say there isn't a single one of us that doesn't want it to work out for Tel.
We all want to be wrong. Everyone wants to be wrong.
At the end of the day, if you're not good enough, you're not good enough. And you know what? Who knows? Maybe he gets sold in a year's time and he goes somewhere and he really picks up, he gets his confidence back and he smashes it. But as it stands, he's not good enough to be at Tottenham Hotspurs. And I hate to say that.
You know what will happen? You know what will happen? And I do need to wrap up the show in 4 minutes, guys. And if anyone's ever wondering why I cut the shows at 2 hours, I'll tell you lot off stage why I cut it at 2 hours. What will happen is he'll score a goal at some point in the next 4 or 5 games. He'll get a tap in. Everyone will go, "Oh, see, there's a."
They've already done it at the under-21, Sav. They've already done it, mate.
Right. All I've seen all week. Look at this goal for the under-21s. It's like, that's brilliant, but we're not the France under-21s. Like we're not the France under-21s. This is not that. This is the Premier League. This is Tottenham Hotspur. And for me, I just feel that. Again, like you're right, Benji. People go, "Oh, you hate him." I don't hate him. I don't know him. He seems like probably a lovely lad. Got nothing against him. But I judge footballers on their football ability. I don't care what the colour of their skin is. I don't care about their religion. I don't care if they pray on the pit. I don't care. Right? If you're a good player, I'm saying it. If you're not, I'm also saying it. And for me, Connor had it right. This was the golden opportunity today. This was the golden opportunity. He's got 3 other strikers in front of him at the club for whatever reason couldn't play today. You're playing against an average team. A lot of that game he had against 10 men, right? And let's be fair, Mavropanos and Kilman, not great. They're okay. They're decent. And he's not done anything like no moment where you go, God, look at that touch and look at that acceleration, look at that shifting the just crap. Guys, just want to say quickly, thank you to every single one of you. I really appreciate it. I did want to talk about the refs, but it's gone, and I know Chris would have had a field day with this. But look, thank you very much, James, Chris, Connor, Benji, and Danny. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow. I'm going to have a rest in the morning. Tomorrow, I'm going to do a watch along for the Manchester derby, because I think that should be quite interesting. 2 under pressure managers. Never thought you'd say that about Pep Guardiola. 2 under pressure managers, and then tomorrow night at 7:30, we will have the Spurs review. Guys, thank you very much for coming on. Appreciate all of you, and I appreciate that it is late. Thank you. Guys, girls, really quickly. Shit, I got Mark. Big up to you, Mark. Said our delivery from corners already are so much better than I've seen in years. A real threat. Absolutely. People see that as a negative. I've never understood people saying, "Oh, we score from corners." That's a good thing. That's a brilliant thing. Big up to you, Mark. Really appreciate that. Mark, you were spot on as well. You did say that you saw a sending off in this game before, and it did turn out to be true. So big up to you, my man. Thank you very much. A user has said, "We missed you today, Levy. Love you." Big up, Daniel Levy, wherever you are. I hope you're doing well, and we look forward to seeing you at a game again soon. Big up to you, Daniel Levy. And last but not least, A users come back in and said, "Do you think the red card influenced today's result?" Look, it's difficult to say. I think we came out a lot better the second half anyway, got the 1-goal lead, and we were the team that were pushing. Difficult to say, isn't it? But hey, it is what it is. But big up to you, A-User. Appreciate you. Take care. Don't forget, guys, OK Jersey for replica shirts. Match bingo. If you want to play the match bingo cards, they're good fun. Perchy and I were playing them today. We didn't win. We were terrible at it. But hey, it is what it is. Much love. Take care. And as always, hang on, have I got time to redirect? Hang on, I've got 30 seconds. Can I redirect in 30 seconds? Quickly, Savva, can I redirect? Who's live?
25, 24.
search. I'm going to send you over to, oh God, no one's live. I'm going to send you over to Flawless at Sarcasm City. When you get over there, show him some love. Say hello, say a Savva raid, and subscribe to him. Take care, much love. And as always, come on, you Spurs.